Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This is going to be doing your daily Walking Dead video for today. Kind of spoilers for this one if you haven't seen episode 13 yet, but should Carol feel guilty for what happened with Ben? And thank you guys for continuing to send me your questions for this week. Got lots of questions lined up for the next couple days. Keep sending them to me so we can keep adding them and do the videos right on through to this weekend till we get to episode 14, the other side. Pretty excited for it, and I just got the Whisper War trade. I pre-ordered it and it finally got here. So heads up for that. We'll be doing a review for that in the next couple of days. Just got that on order, so very cool stuff. And still kind of buzzing a little bit from episode 13. I thought it was a really, really good episode and kind of a special one. You know, I love episodes like that. Reminds me a lot of like some of the character stuff we had with Shane, Better Angels, some episodes like that. Not saying necessarily it's better than some of those, really amazing episodes we've had, but episode 13 is definitely a really, really good episode. So this one came from Rena Mayers, as well as some other people as well, too, kind of mentioned the same kind of deal. Do you think that Carol feels guilty since Benjamin offered to skip the drop and walk with her back to the cottage? So she, of course, denies him and tells him, no, do your drop, and that is exactly where he is killed. So can she feel guilty about that? Well, I think there must be some guilt for what's happened with her in the last little while since the beginning of the season, and actually since, the end of season 6, because with Carol, she takes off on her own. She mostly wants to be alone. You get into all this stuff with her getting attacked by the Saviors, and she kills off a good number of them and that. So for that, she can't feel guilty. She's definitely done her part of killing Saviors. She's killed a bunch, maybe more than anybody else. Has she killed more than anybody else? I'd have to count. But she may have actually killed more Saviors than any of the others with the kill floor and all the other stuff that happened there, before the second half of season 6. She's super tough, man, that's for sure. But she wasn't there to fight for them when the ending came. So when the end of season 6 came, she was kind of off on her own, but she had kind of left in that. So she might feel a bit guilty because Glenn and Abraham were killed and she just wasn't there. She was in her own head and she was kind of selfishly leaving, maybe thinking that if she left, she wouldn't have to see what was going to happen next or hear about it, or maybe that would be better for everybody. And I think at this point, she kind of realizes that, being out of the game, not allowing, yourself to help doesn't mean people aren't going to die, and it doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. Even though she just met this Ben kid and she didn't really know him too well, distance herself from him a lot like what she did with Sam. Still got to hurt when she finds out that he didn't make it. Of course, when they bring him in and everything, and bleeds out and all that. So it's pretty sad. But could she feel guilty just for saying no there? No, I don't think so. But I think it's a changing moment for her. She realizes when Ben comes in, I would think that she can't just push people away and expect them to survive. If she's not involved, it really doesn't help the case at all, right? So should she feel guilty? Not really, but maybe if she feels like she hasn't done everything she can for the survivors, for her people, for Rick and the others, and everybody at the kingdom now as well too, because she's kind of become a member of the kingdom as well with Ezekiel and the others, maybe she will feel a little bit of guilt because she'll know that she was just kind of sitting by herself, minding her own business, I suppose, and letting these things happen, but not giving it her all when she could have done something, maybe not getting involved. So not getting involved and just trying to stay out of it doesn't make her, I guess, innocent, or doesn't make her not responsible for what happens. And I think that she will kind of understand that. So yes and no is my answer to your question, Marie. It's a good question. So I don't think directly, but I think that she understands now. If she pushes everybody away and just lets things roll out, they're not gonna happen better than if she's involved. She's definitely a contributing member, I would say, of the survivors. She's definitely super tough. And what would happen if she didn't? She decided not to show up at Terminus, right? So yeah, she's a really strong character, and I hope that this is 100% a changing moment for her, and she realizes that that's just leaving everything be and trying to opt out of the world like that is not really the answer, with regards to everybody, in her group and that. Next question is from Jay Health, and he says, Q&A Trev, do you think Maggie will ever get back at Daryl for getting Glenn killed? So, of course she's with Daryl in this episode coming up on Sunday, episode 14. I know a lot of people said that because Daryl kind of inadvertently causes Negan to kill Glenn because he punches Negan. He gets a good shot on him. Probably, he's the best shot on Negan anybody has got. Everyone else, well, Rosita had a pretty good one and hurt Lucille. So I guess that counts too. But he hit him with a pretty good right hook or cross, I suppose. So do we think that Maggie would want to get back at him, or will she? Well, she probably doesn't hold him responsible for that. I mean, that was Negan decided to do that. Was it Daryl's fault that it happened because he didn't play the game? I guess, but you can't blame him for it at all because he's protecting the group. He's trying to defend everybody. He's animalistic. He's aggressive, and he's trying to defend the people that he cares about. It's always worked for them in the past before. When you have Rick and Daryl and the others and Joe's group, for example, they're outnumbered and they still win the fight. So, it's one of those things. It's just kind of like how he deals with it, I suppose, in that situation. And, it's sad what happened, obviously, with Glenn. But I don't think you can blame Daryl, and I don't think Maggie does either. So totally unnecessary for her to get back at him, so to speak, or to even blame him. Clifford Bateau says, Daryl did not plan for anyone else to get killed in the lineup, I mean. Talking about responsibility here and intention. And, of course, Daryl didn't intend to get anybody killed at all. That's for sure. Kuin says, hey, Trevor, did you not think that Richard looked like David Morrissey, the governor? And he absolutely does. Even Jess was watching with me. I was watching Talking Dead after, for this week's episode. It was cool to see Michael Rooker on there. That was sweet. Merle, right? Really cool to see him come back because it'd be cool if they could get John Bernthal to come back for an episode or something. That'd be wicked cool. But to see Michael Rooker was really cool on Talking Dead. And Jess was looking for a sec because she kind of watched it, but she's like on her phone and stuff, right? She looks over. She says, "Is that the governor?" And I was like, "Oh no!" So she thought it was too. So he looks a lot like the governor, and also the fact that is he Irish, Scottish, or English? I couldn't place the accent. I want to say Irish. I'm not going to look into it. I don't care. He's already killed off anyway. It doesn't matter. But he looks a lot like David Morris. He looks a lot like the governor, I have to admit. And even his planning, too, was a little bit like the governor, too. The governor would plan some kind of shit like that for sure, right? Except not to have himself killed. The governor would plan to have everybody else killed but him, I want to say. Dr. Smarty Pants says, hey, Trav, my question is, who's your most hated savior now? I actually hate Jared a lot now since no one hits Jerry and gets away with it. That's true. Jared hits Jerry with a staff. And that was so cold, too, because he just, whacks him with it. And do you see when he's being a goof when they're driving up and he's like throwing the stick around, acting like he's a ninja, like he's Morgan or something? Oh, man, I cannot wait to see that guy get it. I can't wait to see Jared get it. I hope Jerry does it with his axe. I hope Jerry comes up to him and, right in the head or something, or cuts his hair off or something, scalps him, or I don't know, with the girly hair and everything. So that's funny, man. He's definitely one of the most hated saviors that there is there, I think, for sure. And you guys can write your most hated savior below if you want to. I think you're probably right. He's probably number one, and then maybe I go with I don't like Dwight that much, so he'd be close. Sherry at parts, I don't like Sherry, but she's ran away now and freed Daryl, so I kind of forgive her for whatever she did before. And then past that, I don't know, maybe David, because he seems to be kind of pedo-ish. He's getting close to pedo territory when he's talking to Eden and stuff. That's weird. So he might be number one, actually, because that's a possible pedo action or behavior. Maybe even outdoes Jerry. So Jerry and him, I think, are top 1 and 2, I guess. James W. says, Morgan strangled Richard like he did that kid back in the Clear episode after he slapped the other guy in the throat with a branch when ambushing them. That's a crazy son of a bitch. I don't know if that's in Clear. Is that in Clear, or is that in the Here's Not Here flashback episode? I think that's in Here's Not Here, is it not? But it's a flashback, so I get what you're saying. It doesn't matter which episode it's in. But I know what you mean, and he does kind of strangle. And that's a nice call out that it's similar to that. It's kind of like he's flashback to that part, and he's doing the same kind of thing that he was doing then. His kill switch has engaged, so to speak. It's not a bad band, actually. I've seen them once before live. And just they opened for Disturbed. That was a sweet show, really cool show. Disturbed's awesome. Yeah, that was that's pretty cool that they use the same kind of thing, same kind of deal, blatant choke, right? On the throat. So I'm not familiar with how good that works. I think it's illegal in MMA. I don't think you're allowed to do it in sporting. In any sports, you're not allowed to blatant choke like that. Maybe because it's so effective. I'm not sure, or you could just kill people. I don't know. Matthew Fox says, "Hey Trev, do you think we will ever see the Saviors arrive at Alexandria for another pickup before All Out War starts?" So I think so. So we're thinking like before the finale in the next few episodes. We only have a few left though, and episode 14 looks like the assassination attempt and the stuff at the hilltop. Episode 15 looks like it could be the Oceanside. Episode 16 is extended. That's our finale. So if we're going to see the Saviors visit Alexandria, that would have to be the episode. And I think we will. I think we will see that in the final episode, and that should be really exciting. I hope that is what we see. Take a Shower Stinky says, "Is Riverdale more popular than The Walking Dead?" Riverdale? Really? Really? Take a shower, Stinky. Yeah, do what your name says. I think he's trolling anyway. But no, of course not. I mean, The Walking Dead is still a huge show. Let's not get this wrong here. It gets 10 to 15 million or 17 million views an episode, whereas shows like Riverdale and Arrow and Flash and things like that, CW shows and that, they're like 1, 2, maybe 3 million at best. That's it, right? So no, I mean, it's not on the level of Walking Dead. There's no question about that. Any shows like that. Excel Gaming and Mods says, "I would like to know why a gas-guzzling dual-wheeled V8 Dodge truck was used to transport 12 cantaloupes in a situation where resources are scarce." How about transporting one cantaloupe? Forget about the 12, just one. That's true. I actually did think about that too when I was watching it. I'm like, if resources are that scarce, you're driving in this huge truck and all these people together to give them one cantaloupe? Really? And is it really that big of a deal? I know there are rules, and Negan's big on the rules, and his other saviors under him are probably also big on the rules and following the rules. But I mean, come on. It's one cantaloupe. And like you said, they're both driving up. And I mean, even for 12, gas has got to be scarce in this world now, because I think it doesn't eventually dry up or something, or eventually, the electricity goes out. And I'm not sure gas stations or whatever, how hard it is to get gas, but you'd think eventually they would run out of gas or something. And driving some huge truck or something would use that up pretty quickly. So it's a good point. Definitely it's a good point. Suspect 2 says, "I just can't wait for the long-haired bastard to die." So that's Jared. So he also, I guess for him, his most hated savior is definitely Jared for sure. Blaine Spell says, have to admit, I've been hating on the season, but this was a really good episode. And yeah, absolutely, Blaine. The only downside of it is that the season's almost over now. But, I mean, it was a really great episode. We definitely needed that, I think, because we've had a few slow ones this season. I think that's easy to say. Jordan Needs Memes says, the opening credits came out of effing nowhere this episode. So, yeah, that's true. That's something I noticed when I was doing my review notes, is that they came up with the intro credits really quickly, because they showed the one cantaloupe, and then it was like, oh, what's that all about? Why are they loading up one cantaloupe? And are they out of food or something? Is it going to be war? What's going to happen? And then we find out afterwards. Last one will be from Zachary James, who says, "Hey, Trev, Q&A, why does The Walking Dead do so many double deaths? Have you noticed that? Premiere double death, mid-season finale double death, episode 11 double death, Fat Joey and Dr. Carson, and now this episode." And that's, well, I don't know if you call that double death, Fat Joey. You should probably count that. I think you're kind of tweaking the stats now, my friend, to send your point across. You got to be careful with that, right? I'm going to start to assume you work for a drug company or something. Okay. But you're right. There are some double death situations. It's true. And this episode did have a double death as well, too. Maybe they feel like one death isn't enough anymore, and they got to bring on two every time. They're like, oh, we're going to kill somebody off? No. We're going to kill off two people. So heads up for the finale for that. Look for the twos, right? Or this time will be four. I don't know. It's the conspiracy theory, right? Anyway, all right, I'll wrap it up here. We'll see how the finale goes, and if this is going to continue to be a double death formula. Write your least favorite savior in the comments below, and whether or not you think Carol should feel guilty. If you guys like this video, please thumb it up below. Please share. Please favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, click that subscribe button at the bottom left. That's it for this video. See you guys tomorrow. It's Travis saying peace. Later, guys. See you.